Imagine a world where everybody is connected. Imagine a world where somebody in Japan can do a transaction with somebody in the United States without high banking fees. Imagine a world no longer ruled by greedy corporate banks. There's going to be a common time when we think of central banks in the same way we think about calling an operator to talk to a friend on the phone. This weird, annoying entity that came between us and the things we actually wanted. You aren't going to drown in fees anymore. You aren't going to borrow money from a bank. You aren't going to fight a half a dozen middlemen. It'll just be you and your money anywhere on earth. And once this happens, cryptocurrency could very well make the US dollar obsolete. Once people understand how easy this is and get used to it, the demand for legacy money controlled by a government and bank is going to plummet like a rock. Welcome to the world of cryptocurrency. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special broadcast on this Saturday night. I wasn't planning on doing anything tonight, but on our crypto talk earlier this morning, I got inspired. We were talking about money, CBDCs, blockchain technology, and we were covering some of the biggest institutions in the world, financial investment firms that are making moves in the crypto space. And I made a statement that, sometimes you don't do what they do, you follow what they say. And where are the wealthy people putting their money and what are they doing? And it might make sense for us to duplicate that, to follow them. Obviously, they've been doing something right, and they probably have a better finger on the pulse, their finger on the pulse of the future than we do. So I started talking about money. And I made a statement that most people don't know or understand what money is. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So welcome. My name is Brandon Ivy from Los Angeles, California. I'm the founder and CEO of Ivy League Crypto Academy. That's ILCA for short. Go ahead and type your name in the chat box. I am streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and StreamYard. Feel free to share this if you like in your groups, on your Facebook pages, if you like to. A lot of people need to know what this is all about. So let's see. Who do we have on that I can recognize? I see Miss Marnie DeCasa from Colorado. Good evening. Ann Perez from Rochester, New York. Good evening, Ann. Gina Ray from Philadelphia. Let's see. Kevin Strouser from Georgia. Good evening. Fire your boss. I like that. Fire your boss from London. It is 1 a.m. in London. Wow, you up at 1 a.m. to hear this. I appreciate that. Demetrius Turner, I see. We've got Kenny Taylor. I almost forgot about you. Oh, you were watching Ready Player One. I was actually playing video games. That's what I was doing. Dominica, Facebook user from Dominica. Neil Brooks from Richmond, Virginia. Facebook user saying hello to everybody. See Joyce Easley. Dorothy Mays, Tampa, Florida. DJ from Colorado. Elton from Boston. Welcome, Elton. Jacqueline Briggs from St. Petersburg, Florida. Melanie Davis, who is on the screen right behind me. Oh, wow. I said, is that a different one? I'm seeing your avatar on your Facebook poster. I don't think you sent that one over to me. I think you did. Let's see. Fire your boss is Alam Khan. Okay. Welcome. I see Facebook user from Oregon. Janelle Appling from Colorado. Adele and Colin Mohammed from Trinidad. My Morehouse brother, Lamar Slater from San Diego, California. He was also my Morehouse roommate our freshman year. Daryl Weston from Texas. Carla, St. Louis, Missouri. Brad Ball. Good evening, Brad. Anna Clark from Dominica. Diane Sellers Williamson from California. You hear my message, Diane? I'm gonna jump into that on Monday morning. We'll take a look at a whole lot happening in SGO, Safe Food Community. It's looking like it's a hot mess is happening over there. So we'll see how that pans out. All right. So let's see. Alam, did I have a chance to meet you when I visited London? Do we go back that far? Or is this brand new? You can give me a reminder. I think that was back in the old Sherlock days. All right, everybody, and then those of you that are on our other Facebook groups as well, we welcome all of you. So let me get into this, and this is going to be a little bit difficult for me because I've never done this with the camera on me. Normally, I'm looking out at you guys, so I don't want to be distracting myself. There's no way I can hide. Can I? No, I got to practice. I can be cool with this. So we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject. This. You guys know what this is, right? Federal Reserve note, $100 bill with Benjamin Franklin on it. So, money. How do I want to start this and lead into the main thing? Unfortunately, our educational system does not teach us about money. It teaches us that what we're supposed to do to earn a living, but it does not teach us about money and resources and what money actually is. If you're born in the United States, you think that this is money, the $100 and the other, and the $20 bills, because this is what you need to use to buy stuff. As a kid, I was introduced to money because of the ice cream man that came down the street, and I needed to have tokens like this, dimes, nickels, and quarters, so that I can get the ice cream. So in other words, we understood transaction. I need to give something to get something. But how do I get this? I have to work for it. So I have to trade my time, my hours to get this piece of paper. And then this piece of paper allows me to buy stuff, my clothes, food, kids going to school and everything. That's as much as we are taught this. And yes, Joyce, this is being recorded. That is as much as what we know about money. It is not taught in school anything else. This is what we're taught. What the denominations of pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, 10, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. Outside of that, how to multiply, subtract, add, and divide. We're not taught financial literacy. There are actually 3 forms of money. And the biggest form of money the average person does not have access to. Only the big banks and businesses do. It is not in a denomination that is passed around by this piece of paper. It's something else in the forms of bonds and security notes and digital stuff. But it's not a hand-to-hand transaction. And we don't have access to that real money. But this, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, is not money. And what we have been taught has been a lie. We have been taught to operate in a system of control to keep us slaves. Wait, what? I thought we ended slavery. We ended slavery based on race. We did not end slavery based on class and mindset. What that means is that from birth, we are taught to go to school, get good grades, and get a good, safe, secure job, a job that will take care of you for the rest of your life. That's what our grandparents were supposed to do. That's after World War II. That's what our parents did and failed at. And then they don't know any better. They don't know any different. You got to think about it. The baby boomers. The baby boomers know the system doesn't work. Yet they still teach their children to do the same thing, hoping that their children will have a different result. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting a different result. See, here's the stats if you don't understand or know them. Go to school, get good grades, get a good, safe, secure job, a job that will take care of you for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, 97% of all Americans are going to retire broke, depending on family, government, or friends by the age of 65. The federal government is trying to push that retirement age to 72 because they need you to pass away and expire a few years after you retire because you are no longer a productive member of society and you're sucking from the system. And why are you sucking from the system? I thought that if you work all your life, you're supposed to be well off, right? No, you retire broke, which means you need the government to take care of you. Government doesn't want to take care of you. They need you to die, which means they don't put a healthcare system in place to extend your life. They only put a healthcare system in place not only to make money, but to treat the systems, to keep you living long enough so that you can make a retirement age and then die. That's how the system is designed. We have a social security number given at birth. That is our slave number. Most people don't have $1,000 in their savings account. Most people cannot afford a $400 emergency without going into debt. Most people don't even realize how broke and poor we are as a country. Oh, I should have did that. It just popped in my head. I should have pulled up the wealth inequality video. I'll show that another time. If you've never done it before, you've never seen it before, the wealth inequality video, it will blow your mind. The top 1% in America own 40% of the wealth. The top 1%, 40% of the wealth. Because we are not taught what money is. Do you think they teach their children something different than we're being taught? One, their kids ain't going to public school anyway. Let me give you another saying. Have you ever heard of the term, money doesn't grow on? Can anybody finish that sentence? Does it look like I'm made out of? We can't afford this. We can't afford that. But wealthy people are greedy. Wealthy people are always thinking about money. Wealthy people are Ebenezer Scrooge. That's what we're taught. That's not actually true. They think money is the answer to everybody's problems. Yet people with money commit suicide all the time. They're depressed. They've got problems just like everybody. And in fact, a lot of them are in a more messed up situation than people without money. Want to know why? Because when you have money, you've eliminated 90% of the focus of what most people are doing their day-to-day lives to do. We wake up in the morning and we're slaving thinking about how can I make more money to take care of my family. We don't have time to think about anything else. We don't have time to dream. We don't have time to think of our passions because we got to work to pay our bills. They say that you stop dreaming when you hit 21 years old. You don't have time to dream. Dream is for kids. Dreaming's for kids. No, it's not. No. Dreaming actually begins at around the age of 25 or so when your brain is fully developed. But we've shut that part out because we're now in the rat race of life, doing the same thing over and over and over again, yet expecting a different result. Only 1 out of 100 people working a 9-to-5 job will be okay. 1 out of 100. I didn't say wealthy. I said okay. 1 out of 100. Do you know anybody who's gone down that path and made it out? I actually know one person. My father. He is an exception to the rule. He's that 1 in 100. And that was difficult for me growing up because since it worked for him, then in his mind, it will automatically work for his sons. And when I decided to take a different path, he didn't understand that. It took a while for us to come to an understanding. He didn't understand when I retired at the age of 36 years old. He was like, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? I said, really? Because what he's thought is, You create a skill set and a profession, and that's what you're doing for the rest of your life. And I'm like, my profession is whatever my hobby is. Doesn't necessarily need to be generating an income, but you can't do that if you can't pay your bills. So you've got to the goal is to get money out of the way as an issue so that you're free to do what God put you on this earth to do, whatever your natural talents are, whatever your passion is, that you don't have to worry about, is it going to pay your bills? You do it because it's your talent and you enjoy to do it. It makes you happy and you know the bills are going to be paid. How would it feel to be in that situation? You wake up in the morning, you don't have to worry about, are my bills being paid? Now, once a year, I do a talk called The Secret, where I talk about the law of attraction, vibration, the universe, and magnets. I don't have time to get into that tonight, but it does work. Because I saw The Secret. They talk about, thoughts are things. Earl Nightingale, the strangest secret. You become what you think about. You get what you think about. But why did that fail? When Rhonda Byrne came out with the movie and the book, The Secret, Bob Proctor talking about it. Why did it fail for most people? Because most people still didn't have the key ingredients. It's like they were watching a trailer, but they didn't see the movie. Does the trailer tell you the whole movie? No. See, it mentions the word vibration. It doesn't really get into it. So people are running around thinking about money. I'm thinking about money. I'm thinking about money. Yeah, but it's not coming to me. You're actually blocking it. Why? The people who think about money the most are those who don't have it. And so in their mind, the thought of money doesn't bring up good memories. It doesn't bring up a good feeling. You're thinking about, I don't have enough money to pay my bills. I don't have enough money to buy food. I don't have enough money to get clothes. I don't have enough money to get my medication. I don't have enough money to afford for the funeral. I got to go get a GoFundMe page. I don't have enough money to travel. I don't know about my kids. What I don't lack. I can't buy milk. And so anytime you think of money, it's always a bad feeling. And you pass that on to your kids. Because your kids don't know better. They want something. You say, well, we can't afford that. Stop asking. Stop talking about it. So even your kids first thinking about money is, yeah, they want it, but they have a bad feeling of it. The only time broke people feel good about money is when the next time the lottery hits $1 billion, you're on your job and everybody's putting in to get a lottery ticket. And then you go into dream mode. You start thinking about, what would I do if I won the lottery? You get into dream mode again. What would I do? What would you do if you won the lottery? And I say this all the time. My cousin Marnita, who lives in Colorado, has a better chance of getting bit on the ass by a shark 7 times where there's no ocean than hitting the lottery. But everybody wants to play it because, hey, the one way you guarantee you lose is don't play. That's the only time as an adult you start dreaming again. And you start thinking positive about what money can do. But you haven't been financially educated. So even if you got the money, you'll lose it in the next 7 to 10 years. 70% of lottery winners go broke in 10 years. You didn't learn the skills necessary to acquire it, and you definitely didn't have the skills necessary to keep it because it was designed that way. You weren't taught to do that because the system needs to keep you a slave. You can't be free. Who's going to work? Wealthy people, money is not what's on their mind 24/7. Do you know what's on their mind all the time? Lifestyle. Lifestyle. What type of house they want to buy, private jets, yachts, vacations, fancy clothes, fancy dinners. They don't go into a grocery store and only buy groceries based on what they think that they can afford. They want it, they get it. And I think every single one of you needs to be on that side at least once to experience what that feels like. So you're not thinking about, a person with money doesn't think about money. We think about something called resources. How can I accumulate more resources so I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it? Resources. Money is energy, ladies and gentlemen. This is not money. This is a representation of the way you can get resources at this point of time using this as a symbol. But the energy of money has changed since the beginning of time, from cowrie shells to precious metals and gold and silver, barter system, to this cash, to British ruble, to your debit cards, to checkbooks, to your cell phone, and then a digital representation of this. That's money. It's energy. Energy. Energy can never be destroyed. There is enough resources. In other words, there's enough money in the universe for every single man, woman, and child, all 8 billion human beings on this planet, to live comfortably. We are told that everything is scarce. We are told that we have to fight and compete for money. And no, you don't. They designed the system that way to create and keep a class system in place of the top 1% and everybody else. It was designed that way. Now, since you may not be able to change that design, what you can do is what Jim Rohn preaches all the time. Create a financial wall around your house and your family so high that nothing can penetrate it. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world. Doesn't matter what's happening with the politics. Doesn't matter how the money is changing. You and your family is secure. So the question is how? After saying everything that I said, and people are like, yeah, Brendan, that makes sense. I understand. If you don't understand, type it in the chat box. I don't get it. If you do, type in the chat box. I get it. I try to break things down in a way my mom can understand. So if you recognize, that's the first step, is the mindset. Recognizing that you're in a system that's designed for you to fail. It doesn't matter your skin color. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter what education level you have. The system is designed for the most amount of people to fail. So you as an individual have to figure out how can you escape it. And the thing about it is, even though it's designed that way, every single person has the ability to break their own chains of slavery. Every single person. You got to think that you are an elephant. How do circuses tame elephants? You know, elephants, big creatures, are powerful. They can walk through walls, knock down a house, pull over trees. So as strong as they are, what they do with these elephants is tie a little rope around the leg of the elephant, put a big stake in the ground. I don't know who that is. I get it, but please don't make me chat. I don't know who that is. Facebook user. And the elephant pulls and pulls and pulls and can't get free. And this may go on for a few years as the baby elephant starts to grow. And then the elephants are smart. So they know the moment you put that chain around their leg, they're not going to be able to escape. And so all the trainer has to do is put a little string around the elephant's leg, take a little wooden stake, the elephant sees them pounded into the ground. All the elephant has to do is pull, and the elephant's free. But the elephant has been broken mentally. For the rest of that elephant's life, it will never break free. Oh, I see you, Judy. It'll never break free. We are broken. It starts when we go to elementary school. No. let me rephrase that. It starts from our parents. Our parents are breaking us and they don't even realize it. Our parents have the best intentions, but they're only teaching what they've only been taught. They're only teaching what they know and never questioning the system because they don't know what the alternative is. That's why the rat race keeps going from generation to generation to generation. So the first thing was, how do I break, Brendan? I get it, but I want out. Like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's just like a story with my dad and my family, how I had to look at things. How do I break out? First is mentality, mindset. Be willing to learn more. You have to educate yourself on finances. Read books. My son just got me this for Father's Day. The Color of Money, Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap. This is the main book I'm reading right now. I'm actually recording myself reading this and putting it up. I'll put it up on YouTube. What would the Rockefellers do? How to generate generational wealth. But read. Read the things that your schools are the books your schools are banning. Read those. If they're banning it, it goes to the top of my list because there's knowledge and information in there they don't want you to have for a reason. Those are the first books I'm going to read. A lot of books you don't have access to. The wealthy have them in their own private libraries that they share amongst each other and their own family. Old ancient knowledge you will never see and have access to, passed down from generation to generation to generation. But that's where you can start. Read. But you want to start to put something in action right now while you're learning and while you're re-educating yourself. This is the easy part. And this is something everybody can do. Do what other wealthy people are doing. And I'm not talking about, well, they send their kids to the best Ivy League schools and they've got a buddy of theirs who can give their kid a job. That's not what I'm talking about. Not what I'm doing. I'm saying be positioned in front of the energy of money. Where is it? And I use the analogy called the river. Where is the river flowing? This is why I say we know river doesn't flow in a straight line. Have you ever seen a river that flows straight? Rivers curve and change course and they move and they zigzag. There's never a straight line. Yet we're taught, then you go to elementary school, then you're going to go to middle school, high school, college, and then you're going to get a job. And that's your path for the next 65 years of your life. One straight line. Money doesn't do that. They only pay you enough money so you don't quit, and you only work hard enough so that you don't get fired. Say, well, why are you calling me a slave? On Friday after work, I can do whatever I want. Really? You don't have enough resources to do whatever you want. And they know that you can only go so far because you got to be back on your cubicle on Monday. So they'll let you roam free for 2 days on the weekend. But they know exactly where you're going to be back on Monday morning. It's the illusion of freedom. When you give people options and they think they have a choice, but you control both options, there's really no choice at all. Doesn't matter what you choose, it's still going to go to the agenda of the people who created it. You've got to have another option that they're not giving you. So you find out, where is the river of money? And there can be many different rivers, but not all of them have money in them. You know, right now they're teaching everybody to flow down the river of broken obscurity. There ain't no money there, so get off that river. The wealthy people aren't flowing down that river. Where's the river of money? So then you look at what industry is where the money is flowing. But before I get to that, let me explain the river. Okay, I want you to picture This big river. It could be the Mississippi. It could be the Nile. Some places it's narrow. Other places it's wide and big. You can't swim across it. Current's too strong. And on this river, money is represented by fish. So you're fishing in this river for money. Now, you as an individual is doing what you were told to do. You graduated, you got your college diploma, and you got a good job. So you're on the banks of the river with a big fishing pole, and you're out there fishing. The bigger your pole, the bigger the fish you get, which means the more money you're getting and you're pulling in. But that pole can only go so far. But you're standing on the banks of the river. Then you got some people that have a little bit of money. They got jet skis, so they can go a little bit further out into the river. They got boats, because the more deep water, the more fish there are. But you've got to have the tool to be able to get out there. So wealthy people they have boats. And then some of them have big yachts. And then some of them have like oil tankers with huge nets, scraping the whole bottom of that river, pulling up massive amounts of fish and money that you never can, because you're still stuck on the riverbank. The river might be so big you can't see the other side. So you don't even see the tankers out there getting all the money, but you're still stuck on the bank. But you're satisfied because you got enough, paying your bills every single month, living paycheck to paycheck. But then ever so often, that river changes course and it moves. Now, if you're standing on the bank of that river, to you don't know the river changed course. All you know is the water level is dropping. And now there's less and less fish for you to fish in. So people on the banks of the river are now trying to walk out into the mud. And you're starting to get bunched. And now there's people right next to you, elbow length, that you're all fighting for the scraps of fish that's being left over because the water's going away. You think, our jobs are going away. Bring back our jobs. Where are the jobs going? And then you're trying to go off in these little puddles, and everybody, the masses are fighting over these little puddles. But then you look farther out. Those who have the boats, those who have the yachts, those who have the oil tankers, you know what they do? When the river of money the river changes course, they pull up anchor. And they just float with the river in a new direction. You ever wonder, how do the wealthy stay wealthy every single time there's a new change? The wealthy don't want change. They like the status quo. So when they start to see change happening, they tell all of you, it's not happening. It's bad. We're against it. Because they don't want change. Life is good for them. But then when it becomes inevitable, they just pull up anchor and they just float in the new direction. While the rest of you are still, the wealthy said this is wrong. This. But they're already on the new direction of the river, and you didn't even know it changed course. I'm telling you right now that the big river has already changed course. And you standing on the banks of that river, you're now starting to see that water level going down. Inflation, recession, you're not getting raises on your job. They say unemployment's at 3.6%, yet people are still suffering because the cost of living is much higher now than it used to be. So you're not seeing any impact on your life. We're working still just to be broke. It's called the working poor. The whole idea is if you're working, you're supposed to be, getting better off. Then they tell you save. Saving is also wrong. That's the wrong thing to teach. So if I'm telling you, and I don't even need to tell you, you feel it, that the river is changing course, then we have to ask another question. Where is it going? And what do the wealthy people know that they're not willing to say publicly yet? This is when we watch what they do. For example, I'll give you a few examples. Let's use Warren Buffett. Everybody know Warren Buffett? The Oracle of Omaha, multi-billionaire, one of the greatest investors of the last century. He says Bitcoin is rat poison square. It's speculative. There's nothing behind it, and I will never be involved in it. And everybody else, yeah, that's Warren Buffett said that. He must be right. But then he turns around and he invests billions of dollars in fintech businesses and banks. And who are they servicing? And what are they creating? Blockchain technology. So he turns around in one instance and says crypto is crap, and then he invests billions of dollars that is dealing with crypto. Let me give you another billionaire by the name of Jamie Dimon. You ever heard of him? CEO of Chase, JP Morgan Chase. He famously in 2017 came out and said, oh yeah, this Bitcoin crypto is crap. It should be illegal. People are going to die of it. My daughter's stupid for buying Bitcoin. I will fire anybody in my company that's messing around with crypto. He said that publicly. 24 hours later, he goes on the Swedish exchanges and buys up the most amount of Bitcoin assets in the world in a 24-hour period. Because he knew what he said made the market drop. 24 hours later, he bought the dip. The Swedish government sued him and they won, found him guilty of market manipulation. And all he got was a slap on the wrist. He paid a fine. And to him, that was nothing. It was just the cost of doing business. And now what is JP Morgan doing? They want to position themselves to be the number one bank, being the future of the metaverse to the most amount of people. Why? They created a company called Onyx. And Onyx has already stated that they believe the whole cosmetics industry, which they feel digital assets are going to be worth more and more valuable than real world assets. They've already came out and stated that we believe this to be a $5 to $13 trillion industry in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, we want to be ready for it. They also said that they feel there's a financial hurricane coming that's going to be bigger than the Great Depression and what happened in 2008. But they said we're prepared for it. So if they know financial calamity is coming and they're prepared for it, then we have to ask, what are they doing to be prepared for it? And maybe we need to be doing the same thing. They are moving in the river of money. The federal government runs around talking about, we don't like crypto and none of that. Then they're gonna release their own CBDC. Look at all of the clues. So when we talk about changing your financial future, you first need to make the decision and acknowledge that what you've been doing and what you have been taught does not work. Be real with yourself first. Don't be running around, cash is king. The government's going to take care of me. If you're still stuck on that, hey, I wish you the best of luck. So you first got to acknowledge your current situation. I am an American and I am broke. Something's wrong with that picture. That's what Jim Rome used to always say. Something's wrong with that picture. So first you acknowledge it. The second thing, you make the decision to do something about it. Because if you acknowledge it, yet don't do anything about it, you are doing the rat race. And you're teaching your children to do the same thing over and over and over again, yet expecting a different result. So after you acknowledge it, you make the decision to do something about it, then you have to decide where, how. Follow the river of money. First, know where it's going. And I'm telling you right now, the river of money is going in blockchain technology. Web3. This is going to be bigger than the internet. This technology is going to revolutionize the entire world. Every man, woman, and child will be a part of it, whether you like it or not. You don't have a say-so on this. You don't have an opinion on it. Your opinion of this is irrelevant. It's going to happen. You're not going to be able to get a job in the future unless you understand and know this stuff. You're going to be paid in digital assets, whether it's going to be crypto or a CBDC or something, but it's going to be digital. AI technology is going to wipe out 40% of all service jobs in America anyway. So we need to learn new skill sets. You've got to unlearn what you knew and learn something new. And that can be difficult for most people. We're set in our ways, but I don't believe in being set on being broke. Being broke is a choice. You understand that? Being broke is a choice, because you can make the choice not to be broke and then do the things that will get you out of that situation. It is temporary. Poor, that's a different thing. Poor can be generational curse. And somebody's got to be the first to break that poor mindset in a family so it's not passed down to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. You don't want to be in the, it's okay to be broke from time to time. Everybody's been broke. Wealthy people have been broke. It's a temporary situation, not the end of the world. Poor, that's eternal. So if you're broke right now, that's okay. Acknowledge it, own it, recognize it, and then see, what am I doing right now that's keeping me broke? And what can I do to change that? Now, what I am proposing is not the only way, but I'm telling you, it is a major way. This technology is a game changer. Vladimir Putin, and I don't like quoting Vladimir Putin, but he's right. He said in 2016 that the Stone Age did not end due to the lack of stones. Look around, there's still stones on the ground. The Stone Age ended due to the introduction of better technology. He didn't say more money. He said better technology, because better technology, a result of that, brought about more opportunities for more resources. And he said the nations that harness this new technology will become the new world superpower. Like I've been telling everybody, I've been on a whole Marvel's tip right now. Disney Plus, they got a timeline to watch every Marvel movie in the right chronological order of time. And I was watching Iron Man, and the terrorist said, at one point, one of the greatest rulers in the world controlled all the way in China from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Ukraine in Europe. 3 times as large as the Roman Empire. And he did it because he had the most bow and arrows and horses. The British Empire dominated for centuries because they were able to mass produce bullets and guns and build the best ships to export their ideology around the world. At one point, the sun never set on their empire. The United States was the first to develop and drop the atom bomb, which ended World War II and began the reign of America as the dominant nation on this planet up until now. What is the internet that David Letterman laughed at Bill Gates about in the 90s? How many of you back in the 90s remember about how big the internet was? How many of you thought that this might be something you should get involved in? I was still writing letters in the 90s. Didn't really understand email. Let's watch this little clip from Bill Gates and David Letterman.
But, I think about this, and what about this internet thing? Do you know anything about that?
Sure.
What the hell is that exactly?
Well, it's become a place where people are publishing information.
Right.
So everybody can have their own homepage. Companies are there. The latest information. It's wild what's going on. You can send electronic mail to people. It is the big new thing.
Yeah, but it's easy to criticize something you don't fully understand, which is my position here.
Go ahead.
But I can remember a couple of months ago, there was like a big breakthrough announcement that on the internet or on some computer deal, they were going to broadcast a baseball game. You could listen to a baseball game on your computer. And I just thought to myself, does radio ring a bell? You know what I mean?
There's a difference.
There is a difference.
It's not a huge difference.
What is the difference?
But you can listen to the baseball game whenever you want.
Right.
Too.
Oh, Oh, I see. So it's stored in one of your memory deals, and then you
Exactly.
can come
That's
back
the
a year
RAM
later.
that you talked about earlier.
Yeah. Do tape recorders ring a bell? Yeah, I just don't know. What can you, just knowing me the little you know me now, what am I missing here? What do I need?
Well, if you want to learn about the latest cigars or auto racing statistics.
Well, I've got that covered. I subscribe to 2 British magazines devoted entirely to motorsports, and I call the Quaker State Speedline about 2 times a half hour. So now, would the computer give me more than I'm getting that way?
Or you could find other people who have the same unusual interests you do. And
You mean the troubled loner chat room on the internet?
absolutely.
I think one day I'll get one of these deals, but I've played with them, and then you type it in, and then you get that thing, that little arrow. Is that the arrow you move?
bet.
And then it's just, it's like, oh, I get it. It's an eye test. What do we?
That was 1995. All right. 1995. And Bill Gates was sitting there explaining to the world about this thing called the internet and the emails and what you can do with it. And look at where we are right now. Every adolescent to adult has a presence on the internet. In fact, it's weird if you don't. Bill Gates said something else in 2014. He said, Bitcoin can't be stopped. Bill Gates is also on one of my main lists as if you want to decide who is Satoshi Nakamoto, he qualifies that he could have been Satoshi Nakamoto. I still don't think it was him, but he would be on my short list. Now, years since then, he's been saying the opposite about crypto. But he loves blockchain technology. This technology is going to revolutionize our world. So you ask me, where is the river of money being pointed to? It's right there. And to be more specific, the metaverse. That's where the river of money is going. So I will leave you with this question. What are you willing to do to get yourself in front of the river of money? And if you don't know where to start and you want some help, contact whoever invited you to listen to me tonight, and we will point you in the right direction to see if there's something that we can give you that will fit you and change your situation so that you don't be on the banks of the river fishing with a little fishing pole, but you've got that yacht in the middle of the river and you can start having a boatload of fish coming into your home. Hope you guys have a good evening. I am actually doing a presentation tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where I will be talking about one of the projects where I am in my river of money. And that will be tomorrow night. Get back to myself or whoever invited you, and we'll get you the information on how you can listen to that presentation. With that, have a great weekend, everybody. I'm about to go eat some dinner and play video games for the rest of the night. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.